we're going to show here is how to recover the aileron for the Quicksilver aircraft, mainly the MX type aircraft, the MX, MXL, the Sprint, the Sport, Sport 2, Sprint 2, Sport 2S, those MX type ailerons, not the GT. What we've got here is this is a frame that came off of an airplane that we're recovering. We're replacing all of the sails on the plane. The plane lived out in the sun and it's outlived, the fabric outlived its usefulness, so we're replacing it. This is a frame that was already put together by the builder, and we're going to show how to properly put the cover on with the least amount of effort. For the most part, we go right according to the assembly manual. We have the frame together. This one has been riveted in, put all in place. But because it's an existing frame, what I'm doing now, the three components, is we have a little file. We use some silicone spray and some cleaner. So what we've done, we've already used the cleaner and we wiped down the frame. We got any kind of sticky, gooey. This plane was clear coated, so we took all the clear coat, any of the clear coat that was on the aluminum tubing. Sometimes the old aluminum where the bolts go in, the old aluminum will have a little bit of rust right there. We take that stuff off, and then we do a real good inspection on all of the bolt holes. And what we're looking for in the holes are some radial cracks that are coming out of these bolt holes. And this airframe has only got, it maybe only has about 500-600 hours on it, so it's in good shape. We didn't have any issues with any cracks on the tubing. But then I'll take the file. After I do that, we look for any kind of snags for the fabric is what we're after. And if I feel anything, we just hit it with the file, just to kind of knock that down. And we go through each and every one of these. We take our time. We do a real good job on that. One of the areas that causes problems for a lot of people is the sleeve that attaches the two leading edge pieces. The outboard and the inboard pieces of the leading edge of the aileron are held together with this oversleeve. In some cases, this sleeve will have a sharp edge on it, and this edge is known to catch the fabric and make it hard for the fabric to go over. So when we build the airplane from new, we take this tube and we file it down, we round off this sleeve. But on this particular airplane, all we did was just took the file and went around and just got that edge off of this tube so the fabric can slide over it. We have a little bungee cord right here that we use that holds the upper and lower pieces of the frame together. That kind of helps us while we're handling it. The last thing we do before we slide the fabric on is we spray it down with a silicone spray. This is a dry silicone spray, and what we'll do is we'll spray it pretty heavy on the and I'll show you. We spray it pretty heavy on the tube, and we do the whole thing. We'll spray the whole frame like that. And then I'll come back with this rag and just wipe it off just to get the real heavy liquid off and to spread this silicone, the lubricating properties of the silicone around. And then we'll let this sit for about 20 minutes, 20 or 30 minutes, because we want this stuff to dry. We don't want it to stay wet. And that helps it slide on. We've got some customers have told us that they'll use a wax, which will work, an automotive wax. The problem that we found with some of the waxes that if you're going to put a clear coat on top of the fabric after the fabric is on, that tends to come through and it causes some discoloration, or you can see where the wax has came through the fabric. We've been using the spray silicone, and it's a dry spray and it dries good. We've not had any problems with it at all. Now what I'll do is I'll pass my towel along the whole leading edge of the frame and then on the trailing edge of the frame. If the towel feels any of these soft terry cloth towels, if they feel anything, you'll feel it. Or if there's anything that's going to catch it, you'll feel it. So we just slide that all the way across. And this one feels pretty good. And then we'll flip it across. There's typically not anything going to catch on the trailing edge, but still we'll slide that across. Here we have the joint where the two pieces connect. That's still nice and smooth. And so this frame is pretty much ready to go. And a little recap before we cover it, we got all of because it's a used frame, We got all of the little snags off. We got all of any of the crud that's on it off, anything to cause sticking. We deburred them, we sprayed it with the silicone, we let the silicone dry, and now we're ready to put the fabric on. And we're gonna go just by the book for the most part. Exactly what the Quicksilver assembly manual calls for, that's what it is that we're gonna do. All right, we're gonna slide the frame inside the fabric. I just got it laid out, got the zipper open. We're gonna start off and just push it in, just slide it in. Not forcing anything, it actually goes in quite easy. When I get to this point, I'm going to take off the bungee cord and just continue sliding it in. Now it's starting to get tight, and this is where most people are having their problems at, is right here. One of the things we're going to do while we're putting the fabric on the rest of the way is, according to the book, one of the diagrams that they show is that the location of the Velcro tab on the leading edge of the aileron. The whole time this is going on, we need to be sure that this tab stays on the top side of the leading edge spar. I'm going to work a little more. Pull it on. See if this is right. Just roll it. And we can check it all the way down. But the aileron is sitting. The tab is on the top. Then we have a little bit of a puffy area right here. We're gonna eventually get that pulled down. That silicone really makes this easy. Not pulling real hard, just trying to get the majority of it on. Alrighty. So now we're at the point where most people get frustrated. They've gotten this far, they can't pull any more than that, and then they start trying to pull and force it and fight it and to try to get it to go. What we found that works really well for us, we have a pair of rubber gloves, and what we could do is we're gonna tap the fabric all the way down. Now these gloves are gloves that we use when we're degreasing engines and fooling with chemicals, so these are a lot bigger than what they need to be for this job, but they're good rubber gloves, and that's why we like to use these. So what we do, we're gonna put the gloves on. We got our edge pretty much where that needs to be. Let me do a little bit of adjustment. Also with these gloves, you can grab the fabric easier and twist it around on the frame. Kind of tough on the hands if you're using your bare hands. Now we're gonna walk over here, and I've got my little step ladder and a piece of wood. And what I'm doing, I'm gonna start off at the top, and I'm holding the fabric. I'm holding the fabric with my hand, and I'm just gonna tap it down onto the wood. And you can see the big wrinkled area that I have right here when that happens. So I'm gonna let my hand slide down a little bit. And what I'm hitting on the bottom, you can see, is just the leading edge part of the aileron. I'm not hitting the regular frame, I'm just hitting that on the wood. And we're going to see the Velcro is where it's supposed to be. Now we're going to move down. Okay, start back at the top again. She's getting tight now. All right. I'm not hitting it real hard, just a steady tap. But what I am doing is I'm squeezing the fabric. So as I hit it, I'm pulling the fabric down. And I think we're finished with the ladder here. Okay, when I get to this point, what I'll do is I'll move my wood onto the table. And knock one of the lights out here. Alrighty, set this down. You see how our seam looks. Roll it just a little bit. I'm gonna come on this end here. All right, as you can see, we got a lot, but we have a lot more to go. So I'm gonna start at the top again, and we're gonna do the whole thing over again. The light. All right. Let's see what we got. Take these gloves off. Gotta get the zipper around here. All right, let me get my pliers. All right, so what we got right here, now what I'm working on doing is getting the zipper around this around the tube because it folded up underneath there. And if I'd have been watching it while I was doing it, I could have prevented that from happening. But it did, so this is how we're going to fix that. I'm using this pliers and I'm grabbing the whole part of the zipper. I'm not squeezing the teeth itself, but I'm not squeezing the teeth itself, but grabbing the whole zipper and just wrapping it around this tube like this. And that'll pull it out. And there we have okay, and that's how that comes around. I'm gonna put my gloves back on. It's about 100 degrees in the hanger right now, so the inside of these gloves are a bit moist from sweat. I'm just gonna come here and fold this using my thumb, pushing it over, pushing it over, pushing it over. Now I'm pretty close. I can just grab the tongue of the aileron and just close it. Comes soft. Now what we're looking for again is this tab. See, I'm not quite right, so I'm going to move it. Now, you can see that the tab is in line right here. It needs to be on top of the the frame right here, right on the top, and that's what we've got. And it's like this, is this orientation all the way down. All right, now that we have the cover on, we had a little bit of problem with the zipper, which is a good thing because we had that problem and we showed you how you do it with the pliers and you pull it around. But now what we have to do is we have to make sure that the leading edge of the aileron is in a straight line. That is not bowed up or bowed down, it's in a straight line, because what we do when we put the hinge forks on the leading edge of the aileron, when we mate the aileron to the wing, we want all the hinge forks and the eyes to go right together and the bolt go right in. We don't want to have to push the aileron or pull the aileron to make up that hinge point using the little AN3 bolt or the clevis pin on the single place airplanes. But we want that to just drop right in. So what I'll do is I sight down the spar, the leading edge spar, and on this aileron, it's got a slight bow. It's got a slight bow right here. So what I'm going to do, take my board that I use all the time on these airplanes, and put this right here. We'll put the board right here, and I'm fine. And I feel for the compression struts that are in the aileron. I'll feel for them, and what I'll do is I got my hand right over a compression strut and over a compression strut, and I'll push down. There's another one right here. Push down. Okay. Now the whole aileron has got a slight bow to it. So when that happens, I'm going to stand this up. Put this right here. Put that on top. And I'm putting the aileron right here on this end, right where a compression strut is at. So when I'm pushing down on it, the load is spread using the compression strut. We'll come right in the middle, right here, and just a slight push. You can hear it creaking. That's because the aluminum frame inside the fabric is moving. But these are the two compression struts, and I'm pushing down right on top of them. Now I'll move this a little bit. Get on top of this compression strut. Come over here. I need to be right here. Right here. Fit the two struts. And let's have a look-see. That is a straight leading edge of this aileron. So now that that's straight, what will happen is when I go to put my hinge forks on and I put this aileron to the wing, the hinge fork and the eye bolt of the wing are going to line right up. And that's how we put together an aileron for these airplanes, even though a lot of people tell us it can't be done and they rip the zippers out and they end up having a lot of problems. It's really not that difficult.